what's on your mind. You talk it out. You got the time. You thought about it. Let's talk about it. No doubt about it. I got you. ValTrenda all day.
Welcome, everybody, to the ValTrenda Show, your headquarters for melanated mental health. Thank you for joining us every Saturday at noon. How are you liking this new time? And hopefully, if you're not catching us live, you're going back to watch us and comment and share. If this is your first time, welcome. The ValTrenda Show is a safe space. We talk about everything mental health related, but we do dig a little bit deeper and go into melanated mental health. So we like to dive a little deep into our Black and Brown community as it pertains to mental health. We stay true to our objective, and that is to bring more awareness to the Black and Brown community, but not just awareness, education as well, because we have been really withdrawn from that conversation, but no more. The ValTrenda Show, we got you, boo. I have to remind you of your PPP. Have you been taking care of your PPP? Again, it's not the PPP loan, but it's your post-pandemic plans. All right. This includes making your plans to make it out of COVID-19 and the pandemic and everything that took place, but make it out in a healthy manner, right? So let's go and review our PPP Dream Team. Now, the Dream Team consists of our physical body, our outer body presentation, our soul, and our mind. Now, this week, we're going to focus on our outer body presentation because last week we talked about our PCP, like going to the doctor, going to the dentist, right? So hopefully y'all made y'all appointments, okay? This week, let's focus on the outer beauty. Men and women, right? We have to look good, okay? All right? We have to know that we look good because we feel good, right? When our insides are healthy, it shows on the outside. So that means our hair. I've been wearing my natural hair out. If y'all haven't noticed, y'all, like getting up in the morning doing this thing is like, okay, I ain't with it. But I have a hair care specialist, somebody who cares for my hair. Do you have someone who cares for your hair? Because remember, during the pandemic, we couldn't go get our hair done. We couldn't go get our nails done. We couldn't go do any of that. We were forced to do it on our own. And some of us was jacked up, including me, but it's okay. Because now that we're working on our PPP, we get to focus on what to do after all of this pandemic, right? So do you have someone to take care of your nails, like a nail tech or nail specialist or somebody who's going to take care of your nail and your feet, child? Okay. Now your nails, they don't have to be all bedazzled and all of that stuff, but you do want to make sure you get a mani-pedi, honey, because we have places to go and people to do. I said what I said, people to do. And we have to look good while we're doing it. All right. You want to get a lash specialist if you don't have one already, a personal stylist. You want to get one of them, someone who's going to help you in your closet. Now that we're stepping out, the outside is back open. You got to look good. You got to look good, honey. Men, you too. You got to get you some nice little suit, some, these loafers they wear and all this. You got to be all Gucci'd up. But you do want to make sure that your outer appearance is looking good. Also, get you a massage therapist, somebody who's going to take care of the outside of your body and make sure you all, snatched, honey, okay? I personally have my massage therapist come to my home and spend about an hour and a half making sure that my body is right, okay? Because we can't be carrying knots of stress. Get it? Knots of stress. Anyway, your makeup, lotion, waxes, going to the gym. All of this is for our outer body presentation. And I'm going to tell you why this is important, because mentally it sends a signal to your brain to release those endorphins, thus giving us those #happy, giving us those happy feelings. So make sure you have all of these people in your Rolodex in your phone for your PPP. Okay. You don't want to miss out on that. We've got to make sure that we have a hairstylist, a barber, a waxer, all of that, because we got to get it together. All right. We have to get that together. Now, make sure you stay tuned for more of the ValTrenda Show, your headquarters for melanated mental health. You don't want to miss our topic today. So matter of fact, go ahead and get your mimosa. Because I got mine.
All right, Mocha Marvels, we're moving to Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So please be sure to check us out. Bring family and friends. Get your little, what in the morning, Corey?
We're going to add a little flavor to your morning blend, but just now.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the ValTrenda Show, your headquarters for melanated mental health. Now let's go back to this PPP, because before you start thinking about it's all about the outside and what you look like and all of that, beauty really is skin deep, but it reflects on the outside how we feel on the inside. So doing those type of things, making sure our outer appearance is all put together, it's a reflection on how we feel inside. You don't have to go and get your nails done and all of that. You really don't. But if you really want to appear how you feel inside, if you're happy inside, trust me, it's going to show outside. If you are full of gunk and mess and trauma inside, no amount of makeup is going to cover that. And that's just the truth. The point of this particular PPP is to show you that if we're working on our inside, which is what we're doing here on the ValTrenda Show, we're also going to make sure the whole world can see I was once hurt and harmed and damaged and traumatic and all of that, but now I'm healed. I'm wonderful. I feel amazing. I am #happy. So don't forget that when you go through all your PPP, okay? It's not about the vanity of it all. It's about the reflection. All right? Now, let's get into today's Bruno. Today, we continue our topic about Bruno, right? And remember, Bruno today is about sexuality. And that's kind of like, our PPP of our clothes that are in the closet. We're going to bring this topic out of the closet and we're going to talk about sexuality, because in our Black and Brown community, we notice that it's always so hush hush, right? That's why we have so many issues expressing ourselves, because in the Black and Brown community, we just don't talk about Bruno. Okay. But let's review who Bruno is. So if you've watched the movie, it's a Disney movie called Encanto, right? That particular movie has this character in the movie called Bruno, and he represents the family, the topic in the family that no one talks about. Like, the song is so popular now, they didn't even submit it for an Oscar or anything like that, because they didn't think the song would do that well. But it's actually the most popular song. There's so many reels out there right now about Bruno, but this particular Bruno, he really does represent the truth that's in our families that we don't talk about. He was told to shut up. Now, does that sound familiar to you when you're talking about sexuality? You had questions, right? You don't know why you felt this way or why you felt that way, or maybe you came out to your family and they shunned you, or they told you to shut up, or you don't know what you're talking about. That's what we're going to talk about today. So make sure you have your mimosas filled up, because my special guest today, DJ KP is going to go through her personal experience about coming out to her family and all of that. Before we do that, I want to give you information on different types of sexualities. Okay, there are different types. There's heterosexual. Okay, that's being attracted to people of the opposite sex. There's bisexual, that's attracted to people of either sex. There's homosexual, that's being attracted to people of one's own sex. And then there's pansexual, that's attracted to people of any gender identity. And then we have asexual, which is not sexually attracted to other people. I don't know who's asexual. I really like to meet an asexual person because I just know it's not me. But I really want to get into all of that. Like, how do we really discuss that, right? We don't know. Have you heard of the word asexual before? So let's talk with DJ KP. And we're going to get into this particular Bruno. So get your mimosa, your coffee, your whatever you're drinking this time of the day, your wine, and check this out. Welcome, everybody, to the ValTrenda Show, your headquarters for melanated mental health. I have the pleasure of interviewing. She is my niece, my baby. I have brought her up ever since she was about 7 years old, maybe 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or 12. I don't know. But this is my baby. This is my niece. This is DJ KP. Welcome to my show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I appreciate you giving me the call.
You know what? I was excited that you took it because, obviously our show, our topics, we don't shy away from those difficult conversations. And this by far is one of them. So far on our show, we've talked about during our We Don't Talk About Bruno series, we've talked about suicide. We've talked about molestation and everything, domestic violence, everything that's related to the things in our Black and brown community that we don't talk about, but somehow ends up affecting our mental health somewhere down the long run. So tell me your personal experience. Like, again, we're talking about sexuality. So, and when we talk about sexuality in our Black and brown community, it's always like sexuality. You know what I mean? You don't talk about sex, all of that kind of stuff. So tell me how your personal experience was growing up in the church, whatever.
Yeah. So, growing up, my parents are pastors. So naturally, born and raised in the church all the time. I was a musician in the church growing up. So a lot of times what I saw, because I come from a long line of folks in the church. So we always saw what happens in my house stays in my house, right? Our business in the house is our business in the house. That doesn't go to church, that doesn't go to school, that doesn't go to work. It stays in this house. I think that happens much too often in the Black community, not just regarding sexuality, but too many things. I think that's how we end up with so many generational traumas that happen, in our community as Black people. For me, it's pretty simple. We go to church on Sundays, we go on Wednesday nights, rehearsal whenever, and that is what it is. But when it came to the way that we were supposed to live or the way that we were supposed to act, it was pretty cut and dry. Hey, we go to church, we wear our skirts as ladies, do what we got to do. No drinking, no cussing, no having sex before marriage, all of those things, which I would say is the general opinion in the Black church. So not really too much different for me growing up, for sure.
So what about when you decided, or let's talk specifically about your own personal sexuality. And you feel free to tell my audience where you identify yourself as. When we talk about your sexuality growing up, when did you start to become aware of where you fit in that?
Yeah, so if you look at any pictures of me like growing up, you'll always see that I had on generally like my dad's hoodie or one of my uncle's hoodies or like windbreakers. with like some sneakers. So like my uncles are very close in age to me. So because I spent so much time at my grandma's house, naturally I was outside playing football, basketball, whatever with my uncles and their friends. And so for me, it wasn't that I knew that at a young age. Like I was always a tomboy, always that. But when it came to like my sexuality and actually started to deal with women, I was in high school when I started to like deal with, and I'll be honest, like I was still dealing with women and like on the fence dealing with men as well. So I was still, like I had a girlfriend in high school, but I also had a boyfriend in high school. So it's like still trying, I was out here, a little razzle, a little dazzle. I was out here, a little razzle, a little dazzle. But I would say that I became comfortable in that skin definitely after high school. Like I didn't come out to my parents until after high school. And I didn't even do it. Somebody else did it for me. So I mean, it was quite an experience, but I will say that I wouldn't trade it for the world. I will say that the journey that, I've had, I wouldn't trade it for the world. And my journey hasn't been like everybody else's. Like I know too many people who family disowned them or their family doesn't talk to them anymore because of their sexuality. That was absolutely like not my situation whatsoever. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
With your parents being pastors and all, were you afraid that would happen, that they would shun you away or anything like that?
So I wouldn't say per se I was afraid of it from my parents. I think it was other people around them. So because like if you growing up in a church like I have, that once somebody finds something out about somebody else, like the gossip and the rumor mill is going to be something special. So for me, it wasn't more so of being so afraid to tell my parents. It was, all right, who all gonna have something to say about me or have something to say about my parents, because they continue to love me as they should unconditionally, love their child. And so that was really more so I won't say fear. It was more so my reservation about it all, because I got a slick mouth, and I know that if somebody says something to my parents that I don't like, that's out of line, like my parents, they real safe, so they might not say nothing back. But for me, like it's not gonna happen like that, and I didn't want to put them in that type of situation.
That's understandable. So when it came down to somebody else telling them, how was that? Like I never even knew that, but how was that? Yeah. How was that experience for you? And then and what was their first reaction?
I mean, like I wasn't even there. Like I wasn't even at home. This individual went to my parents' house while I wasn't home, and they were like, "Listen, I'm here to tell y'all that me and your child have been dating for this amount of time, and I'm here to tell y'all that however y'all want to take it, that's y'all business. What I'm here to say is that I'm here to take whatever lashing y'all have for your child because I love her. So in the event that y'all want to kick her out of the house, like she walked in the house, she was like, in the event y'all want to kick her out of the house, she got a place to stay. In the event that y'all want to, take this, take that, so whatever, she has all of those things. And the one thing that she told them was that if she chooses to not try to recover you guys' relationship because of the way that y'all respond, she's like, I'm not going to make her do it. She's like, I will encourage her to try and fix it with y'all. She said, but I'm absolutely not going to make her do it because y'all are making this choice right now. So like that was the end of it. Like I walked in the house that night and my parents were like looking around all like crazy. It was like, oh, we love you. Do you want to talk to us about anything? And I was like, nah, bro, I'm home. I'm here. That's it. Ready to go to bed. That was it. And they were like, are you sure you don't want to talk to us about anything? And I was like, nah, I'm sure. Like, what do y'all want to talk about? And it was just a very simple conversation. And essentially, like most parents, they're going to tell you, we already knew. We were just waiting on you. If your parents are in tune with you as a child, they're going to tell you exactly that. We already knew. We were just waiting on you to come out and tell us. Wow. So that's what I got. Yeah,
well,
that's what I got.
And that's good. That's good. That's good because like you said earlier, everybody doesn't have that same experience with their parents in our Black and brown community. How many people have you known personally that, that situation, that your situation was completely different from theirs?
So definitely, so my situation is unique. I always tell people, I be like, listen, don't be out here thinking you're going to do what I did because my situation was very unique. And I was just lucky, blessed, whatever you want to call it. Almost every person that I know who has gone through that process of coming out to their parents or revealing to, their people, they've gone through a stage of somebody not talking to them, somebody cutting them off, and relationships essentially, in most cases, never coming back to be what they were prior to, you coming out. And to me, the crazy part about that is this person was the same all the way through and through, whether you knew or not, or whether they officially told you or not, because Like for me, any of my friends, I'd be like, oh, like the minute I meet y'all, like my gator is on deck. I already know, like if you got, sugar in the tank or not, I already know. I don't care because it's who you are. Who you are is who you are. How you want to handle yourself is how you want to handle yourself. That's your choice. So like to me, I'm gonna love you regardless because of the person that you are. Most people don't have that. Like they don't think about that first when someone comes out to them because their own selfish emotions are coming up and they're thinking, oh, especially for parents, what did I do wrong? How did I raise my child wrong because they chose to do something that's essentially just different from what they would have chosen for the child. Right. So, it's different for a lot of people. I'm just blessed. In the Black and brown community, every person I know, like I said, they've gone through that piece of hell. I call it that piece of hell where you lose something or someone that's important in your life because of your sexuality, and I don't think that should ever be the case.
Yeah, that's really good. Well, let's go to a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about that piece of hell. Let's talk about that part because I think that part is that piece of hell is what eventually affects the person's mental health, right?
Absolutely.
So let's go to a quick break. You are watching the ValTrenda Show, and we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. So make sure you go refill your mimosa because the ValTrenda Show, your headquarters for melanated mental health, will be right back.
Hello, everybody. I'm Liz Everett.
And I'm Stephanie J.
Don't forget to watch The Fab Lab at 11 a.m. on Saturdays. We are all about fashion and the art of beauty, among other things in our laboratory.
We are right before the ValTrenda Show on the Mocha Media Network.
Welcome back to the ValTrenda Show, your headquarters for melanated mental health. Now, listen to what I just said. Melanated mental health. Melanated. Everybody can agree with that part, mental health. Everybody in the whole world can identify with that, but let's put those two together. So we're here. If you're just now joining us, we're talking to DJ KP. First of all, phenomenal DJ. Let me just go ahead and say that. Like, party is under, that's not even the right word to describe. Anyway, so let me keep going. Because they're gonna kick me off of my own show. All right. So we're talking about sexuality in the Black and brown community. And earlier you were talking to us about, you coming out to your parents or at least telling them somebody else did it for you, but still receiving that same love that they gave you before, but realizing that some people in the Black and brown community don't get that. They go through what you just called that piece of hell. Tell me, go into depth about what that means, that piece of hell. What does that mean?
So absolutely. I call it the piece of hell because generally when you come out to your family in a Black and brown community, you're getting looked at all kind of sideways by not only your parents, but those other family members. Grandparents be cruel. So like everybody love their grandma and their granddaddy, but grandmas, they gonna let you have it. And it's gonna be their opinion a lot of times because they're from back in the day and things were just done a certain way, and that's so much, different than what things are now. So like for me, example, that period of hell growing up, I had an uncle who was a homosexual, right? And when I was growing up, like it was all love. Like for me, like I've just had that experience. It was all love when it came to him. Like he came around, he got drunk, he sung his songs, he did his thing. He went home just like everybody else. We knew what was up. But when it came to talking about his partner or the person that he chose to bring around, we would never refer to him as, oh, that's so-and-so's boyfriend, or that's so-and-so's partner, or their significant other. Oh, that's their roommate, or that's their best friend. Oh, that's a family friend. And to me, like, I feel like all relationships start on one thing, and that's respect. Any relationship, whether that be a friendship, whether that be, more than a platonic relationship, whatever it is, that starts right here with respect. So if I can't even respect you enough to say that this is your partner, we already somewhere where we have a problem, right? Ooh. You're my brother, but this isn't your partner. You're my brother, but that's not my brother-in-law. I know y'all married. right? My personal beliefs shouldn't change where you stand to a point where I'm disrespecting titles or disrespecting where this person stands in your life. And so that's where that period of hell comes in, where folks ain't talking to you. Folks, they see you as a different person because you have, or now because they are completely aware of your
right. So you know what, that particular part right there is what you hit like the nail on the head when it came down to the respect. Because if I go back, I don't know whether to say fortunately or unfortunately, but either one, I didn't really have that. I didn't really experience that in family members around me until maybe extended family, like my grandma's sister's grandkids or something like that, right? So then when we were looking, because it wasn't common in our own family, we were all like, well, what's going on here? Did y'all know? Because, and you know what I mean? Because it was abnormal. So for some families, that respect part, like you knew that Uncle so-and-so and had a partner and they've been together for 15 years, but nobody never said, oh, that's his husband. Nobody ever said that. It was always just, that's really good, because they were always like, oh, that's just his friend child. Or they would say friend and then they would throw their hand like that, like that's his friend child. You know what I mean? Like, so how does that, do you have any friends or family members or anybody who's experienced that, where it really started honing down into their mental health? Like it started bothering how they grew up, how they communicated with other people, how their relationships were affected. And what about depression, right? If your family shuns you, I'm sure you're almost faced with that, right?
Absolutely. So it's unfortunate, but like, there's a shame that comes along after you come out to your family. And it shouldn't be, because that's supposed to be, oh, I feel free, I came out, I released this, whatever. There's a shame that comes along with it, right? Let's say if you come out in September, come Thanksgiving, you hiding out. Your friend either ain't making it to Thanksgiving or you ain't coming, right? You're not showing up because there's some shame that's associated. I don't want these people to talk about me. I don't want them to say this. I don't want to have to go off on nobody because I know I'm going to get mad if they say something slick out the mouth to me, right? The issue is that I've seen so many people whose mental health has taken such a hit in the Black and brown community because they simply don't have somebody who understands them or somebody who accepts them for being them. And outside of the Black and brown community, whether it be homosexuality, LGBTQ, whatever your community is of choice, when you feel that you're not accepted for who it is that you are and your total package, that is such a disheartening feeling.
It is. It sounds like it
plays such a huge place in self-esteem, because you go into a spot where I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to the point that my mom didn't want to accept me for who I was, right? That's how you start feeling if you have that falling out with your parent or your grandparent. I'm not good enough for these people. And when you say you're not good enough, now that affects your self-esteem. That's affecting your mental on a daily basis. Now that's affecting you to the point where you don't want to get up and get out of bed, right? It's a trickle effect, and it all could just start with the acceptance. And for some people, it's not even that we have to agree with the lifestyle that you have. It's just that you can say, hey, we can agree to disagree, but I accept you because you're my sibling, or I accept you because you're my child. I'm not fond of the lifestyle. I've heard a million and one people say, hey, I'm not fond of the lifestyle. I'm not about to go out here and marry a woman as a woman. But you know what? By all means, do your thing. If that's what makes you happy, that's what it's about. And I think that's where people forget in the Black and brown community. Yeah. Because for so long, we're the most resilient group of people out there in the world, right? We come back from everything. We come back from, don't tell nobody what's going on in my house. Right. A lot of times that's molestation, that's abuse of some sort within the family that people don't want to talk about. Don't tell nobody about what's going on in my house. That goes generation. So what happens when I'm ready to tell you about something? Guess what? I don't want to tell you now. I'm afraid. There's a shame associated with it. So what we have to remember in this community is that unconditional love has to be above the end all be all.
Wow.
Right? Has to be. That's the difference in our community and others. At the end of the day, like my Caucasian brother or sister is going to accept their child and say, you know what? That's your choice. I might stop talking to you for a couple of days. I just need to process. But when I come back to it, we come back like nothing has ever happened between us. In our community, that ain't it. We going months without talking to each other. And then when we come back, if we come back to talking to each other, it's awkward.
Wow, that is so deep. That is so deep, and yet so true. And I've been there when it comes down to communicating my own personal feelings, but still loving.
Right.
You didn't change as a person,
Right.
So I'm a little flabbergasted a little bit, because it's just, I can hear how hurt on the other side can be. It's unfortunate that a lot of our Black and brown community men and women have to experience things like that. Lastly, before we go, talk to my audience, that parent that thinks their child don't really know how to say it. What advice would you have? I know yours is a little different, but what advice would you have for that party, that cousin, that aunt, that grandma that you said, or mother or father, who doesn't really know how to accept, express, or whatever?
So I think that the most important piece for anybody, for that parent, whoever's involved, remember unconditional love. Remember, and I always say, think about that one thing that you hate about yourself, or that one thing that is that skeleton in your closet, right? And think about how you still want people to love you in spite of whatever that skeleton is. That should be the same energy you keep towards whoever it is in your family, or whoever it is that's your friend. I'm not forcing my lifestyle on you. I'm not telling you got to go marry somebody in the same sex. All I'm saying is, hey, this is what I like. That's it. Just like when we go to the bar, you order your lemon drop and I'm going to order my Hennessy or whatever I'm going to order. You like what you like. I like what I like. It doesn't change who I am. It doesn't change our relationship. I'm not asking you to sleep with me. I'm still the same exact person. Remember the unconditional love, and remember that that individual's happiness is where they're coming from when they say, hey, I choose to be with this person. I choose to be with that person. It's based off of what makes them happy and who they love. And you want them to be happy just like they want you to be happy. If that's truly what is important to you for that person, always remember that unconditional love.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to see you in this light, because, this whole 10-year-old that I knew, Auntie Val,
Whatever.
I'm just happy that that you are that voice. And I know you don't speak for everyone, but to be able to come on the show and express that means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to the audience. So thank you so much. We're going to put all your information down, because I definitely want everybody to party with you, because it's like, I don't even know if y'all really what this experience is like with her as a DJ. Like, have you ever danced with your DJ? I bet you haven't. This one you will. So thank you again. Thank you so much. Much love to you and your family, and we will talk soon. Everybody else, stay tuned for more of the ValTrenda Show, your headquarters for melanated mental health.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Yay! Happy Women's History Month, and happy birthday month to moi. Ow. We would like to point out and give a major She Rose tribute to our very special woman in history. This woman is a poet, an author, a civil rights activist. She's like the mom to all of us, right? She taught us women how to make the men fall to their knees when we walk in the room, and how to make them swarm around us like a hive of honeybees. She taught us why the cage bird sings. She taught us how to be a woman phenomenally, right? She is Miss Maya Angelou. Welcome back to the ValTrenda Show, your headquarters for melanated mental health. So a few weeks ago, I invited you all to my own personal health journey against my better judgment. But I'm actually happy that I did do that because you guys have really been helping me. I've gotten DMs about how to properly do a burpee because that wasn't it. I've gotten so much insight on what I could do better and things like that. But it's a part of my PPP, which is the post-pandemic plan. I am trying to become a very physically healthier, better version of me. Okay. So I do know that, I look good, honey, but I could do better, right? I could do way better. So make sure you check out these clips because I'm telling you, I'll be in the gym and I'll be killing it in my mind. And then the next day I'll be like, no, my back, my neck, everything be hurting. But the point is I stay consistent because this is a part of my self-care that I'm sharing with you. I didn't even throw the dumbbell this time and I wanted to.
I spent so many times thinking about this moment right here, like literally at home thinking about, man, it sure would be nice if I was at the gym right now. But thinking got me nowhere. I had to get up and actually go and do it.
Welcome back to the ValTrenda Show, your headquarters for melanated mental health. If you're always wondering why I'm smiling, it's not just because there's lights and cameras everywhere, but it's because I'm legit #happy. I've had the moment that I've been so happy you guys have decided to share your hashtag moments with me. So check this out.
Hello everyone, my name is Javis Mays. I am an account executive with Grand Canyon University and Education Partners. I love to hang with my kids, play with my dogs, travel and do music. That's what motivates me. That's what makes me happy.
Wasn't that a great hashtag happy moment? Now, I know that made you smile too, because it made me smile. Please continue to share your hashtag moments with me, guys, and include your family. I want to see those children, beautiful smiles. Now, I'm not going to babysit none of them, but I do want to see them, okay? Unfortunately, we have come to the end of the show. But I do want to thank you guys, because if you're watching this moment right here, that means you stuck it out. You stuck out the whole show, and hopefully you got some nuggets from it. And hopefully the ValTrenda Show has become a part of your actual life. Now, I want to thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking it out with me. This season has been fun. Now, we're almost there, so continue to stick it out with me. I'm so happy to the staff. Thank you. Everyone that works as a part of the ValTrenda Show, thank you. I really want to appreciate you all. Now, as we come to the end, I want you guys to remember, please give yourself grace. Sometimes we mess up. We don't do everything the right way. And it's okay. It's okay. Continue to give yourself grace. Continue to be nice to others. Don't let anyone steal your happiness. And as always, show love.